what's wild? Right now, as you're watching this, there's probably something you've been thinking about doing. Maybe it's been sitting in the back of your mind for weeks, months, or even years. And every single day, you have this little conversation with yourself, where part of you says, just do it, and the other part comes up with a really impressive list of reasons why now isn't the right time. I mean, we're all walking around with these brilliant ideas and dreams, and yet somehow we've convinced ourselves that the safest thing to do is absolutely nothing. Isn't that fascinating? We're more afraid of trying than we are of spending our entire lives wondering, what if? Listen, I get it. I really do. You're not being lazy or cowardly. You're being human. Your brain is literally designed to keep you safe. And to your brain, safe means familiar. Even if familiar is kind of miserable, your mind doesn't care if you're happy. It just wants you alive. And anything new or uncertain triggers every alarm system you've got. So when you think about taking that risk, starting that business, having that conversation, moving to that new city, your brain basically turns into an overprotective parent who thinks the world is made of sharp edges and disappointment. And the funny thing is, we listen to that voice like it's some kind of oracle of truth, when really, it's just trying to keep us in our comfort zone where nothing ever changes and we slowly turn into furniture. Here's what's really happening. You're stuck in what I call the someday cycle. You know this cycle intimately. It goes like this. You have an idea, you get excited, then immediately your mind floods with all the things that could go wrong. You decide you need more time, more money, more experience, more certainty. So you wait. And while you're waiting, that little voice of possibility gets quieter and quieter until one day you can barely hear it anymore. And the worst part? You've probably already lost chances you didn't even realize were chances because you were so busy preparing for the perfect moment that the moment just walked right past you waving goodbye. The challenge isn't just about making decisions. It's about understanding that every single day you don't take the risk, you're actually making a choice. You're choosing certainty over possibility. You're choosing the known over the unknown. And sure, that feels safer, but here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. The biggest risk isn't failure. The biggest risk is getting to the end of your life and realizing you were so afraid of doing the wrong thing that you never did anything at all. You played it so safe that you forgot you were supposed to be living, not just existing. Now, let me share something with you that completely changed how I think about this. There's this concept in psychology called loss aversion, and it basically means that we feel the pain of losing something about twice as intensely as we feel the pleasure of gaining something. So your brain is literally wired to focus more on what you might lose if you take the risk than on what you might gain. This is why you can list 50 reasons not to do something in about 30 seconds, but coming up with reasons why you should feels like pulling teeth. Your mind is running a constant calculation, and it's weighted heavily toward don't do anything that might hurt. But here's the beautiful part. Once you know this is happening, you can question it. You can ask yourself, okay, brain, I hear you, but are you trying to protect me, or are you just being dramatic? And honestly, most of the time, it's being dramatic. Think about it this way. Every single thing you're proud of in your life, every relationship, every achievement, every moment of growth came from a moment where you chose uncertainty over safety. You didn't know for sure it would work out, but you did it anyway. And even the things that didn't work out the way you hoped, you survived them. You learned from them. You became more resilient because of them. So all this evidence you have that you can handle hard things, that you can adapt, that you're actually pretty resourceful when you need to be, your brain just conveniently forgets all of that when a new opportunity shows up. All right, so how do we actually work with this? Because I'm not just going to tell you to feel the fear and do it anyway, like that's some kind of magic spell. Let's get practical. First step, and this is so important, stop waiting for the fear to go away. It won't. Confident people aren't people who don't feel afraid. They're people who decided that what they want is more important than their fear. So instead of waiting until you feel ready, just acknowledge, yep, I'm scared and I'm doing this anyway. Say it out loud if you need to. The fear is information, not instruction. Second, make the risk smaller. Most of us think we have to make these huge, life-altering decisions all at once, but you don't. You can take baby steps. Want to start a business? Don't quit your job tomorrow. Spend 1 hour this weekend researching. That's it. Want to have a difficult conversation? Start by writing down what you want to say. Breaking it down makes it manageable, and manageable things actually get done. Third, flip the question. Instead of asking, what if it doesn't work out? Ask, what if it does? Seriously, spend the same amount of energy imagining success that you spend imagining failure. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what's real. So if you're going to create stories, create good ones. What would your life look like 6 months from now if you actually did this thing? How would you feel? Who would you become? Give yourself permission to want that. Fourth, set a decision deadline. This is crucial. Without a deadline, you'll deliberate forever. Pick a date, not too far in the future, maybe a week or two, and commit that by that date, you'll make a decision one way or the other. And here's the key. Making a decision to not do something is fine, as long as it's an active choice and not just avoidance. You get to say no to things, but make it conscious. Fifth, find evidence that you're capable. Look back at your life and identify times when you took risks and things worked out, even partially. That time you applied for a job you didn't think you'd get. That time you traveled somewhere new. That time you spoke up when it was uncomfortable. You've done hard things before. You've bet on yourself before. You just forgot. And sixth, remember that regret comes in 2 flavors, the regret of action and the regret of inaction. Research shows that in the short term, we regret things we did, but in the long term, we regret things we didn't do. Those chances we didn't take haunt us way more than the risks that didn't pan out. So ask yourself, which regret can you live with better? Here's something else I want you to understand. Taking the risk doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean ignoring red flags or making impulsive decisions that could genuinely harm you. It means being willing to be uncomfortable in service of your growth. It means recognizing that staying where you are has a cost too, even if it's less obvious. Every day you don't pursue what matters to you. You're spending your precious time, and time is the one thing you absolutely cannot get back. So here's what I want you to do right now, today. Before you click away from this video, pick one thing, just one. One risk you've been avoiding, one chance you've been talking yourself out of. And do the smallest possible version of it. Not the whole thing, just the first tiny step. Send the email, make the phone call, fill out the application, have the conversation, buy the domain name, sign up for the class. Whatever it is, make it so small that you can't talk yourself out of it, and then do it before your brain catches up and starts listing all the reasons why not. Because here's the truth, and I really want you to hear this. You are so much braver and more capable than you give yourself credit for. The life you want, the version of yourself you dream about becoming, that person already exists inside you. They're just waiting for you to take the first step. And I know it's scary. I know there are no guarantees. But what I also know is that on the other side of that fear is everything you've been wanting. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Magic doesn't happen in certainty. Your best life is waiting for you to be brave enough to reach for it. Take the risk. Because the alternative, losing the chance, sitting with that what if for the rest of your life, that's scarier than anything you might face by trying. You deserve to know what you're capable of. You deserve to live a life that excites you, not one that just feels safe. And yes, you might fail. You might fall flat on your face. But you also might fly. And wouldn't it be amazing to find out? If this resonated with you, do me a favor. Leave a comment telling me one risk you're going to take this week. Just one. Let's create some accountability here. And if you want more of these conversations, more reminders that you're capable of extraordinary things, subscribe so we can keep doing this work together. Your future self is counting on the choice you make right now. Make them proud.